Some people are saying it's like the war. The feckin' war. We're not digging up turnips, are we? I'm 74 and that's my underlying health condition. Me age. We came here in the 60s looking for a new life. Me mam never got over our Matty, me brother. He was murdered by two GIs. 20 years older than me he was. Sammy Hendren found him when he was cycling home from Moira train station, unconscious at the side of the road. They took him to Lurgan Hospital, but he died the next morning. The government is stealing what little bit of time I've got left. I've written to Horace Johnson, telling him he owes me 12 feckin' weeks if he doesn't mind. The two GIs had caused a fracas earlier on in Clonaghan's bar, and it was me brother Matty who helped chuck him out. Me mam never forgot that she didn't hug him that day. She allus said years and years and nothing, and then there's that one day, and it was the day I didn't hug him. It's all arse about face. My son ringing me, telling me what to do. Like I'm his child. A kind word wouldn't break his feckin' mouth. They were due to be on guard duty that night, but didn't turn up. They arrested them the next day. Sometimes I don't answer when my son rings. He's round here in 2 shakes of a witch's tit, beeping his horn. The look of disappointment on his face when I show mine. If I kicked the bucket, it would solve a lot of problems. There was blood on their overcoats. They couldn't decide who did it, so they charged the two of them together. It was a hard thing for me mam to get over, as if the war wasn't enough. She should have hugged Matty. I can look after myself. One feckin' little fall and he's behind me back making inquiries. Lockdown put paid to those plans, didn't it? Trapped, all of us, in some way. I'm trapped in me old age, suffocating. I want to hug my son.
At 3 a.m. we gather for the visit. We meet in the living room of my parents' house. Myself, my husband, my children, my brother, my sister-in-law, my nieces, my mother, my father, sometimes the ancestors. And nothing looks quite the same as I remember, but it's also exactly how it's always been. At 3 a.m, everything is bigger. Small moments made intense because I know that none of this is real. My littlest niece curls against me as I read aloud from a book I don't know the name of. Her hair tickles my nose. My brother maps out an underground adventure through the tin mines with my son. My grandmother and my great-aunt have journeyed back to join us from wherever it is the dead go. And I want to talk to them, but I'm afraid that if I do, they'll disappear. At 3 a.m, the beach we call ours is steeper, wider, greyer. My mother and I brave the sea, take the waves in our stride. The children walk out across the rocks, and I want to tell them to be careful because my unconscious sometimes conjures sharks and tidal waves. But they're chasing tropical fish clustered thickly in the rock pools. They don't look up from what they're doing, and I swallow against the uneasy sharpness of their freedom. One day we'll meet again. I'll gather my family, fill the car, burn through the 386 miles that lie between us, and take us all home. The living room will have its old familiar shapes. The book I read will be one I recognise. The corner that once held the ancestors will be empty. The beach will be gold and welcoming. There will be no sharks, no tidal waves, no tropical fish. And we will look back and say, God, do you remember? And we will look back and say, God, we were apart for so long. But as long as those miles remain unbreachable, each night will find me making an escape of my own, making a rope from my bed sheets, climbing out of the window in my pyjamas, breaking every rule of time and space, life and death and lockdown, so we can all meet in secret at 3 a.m. Cheers.
"16 men she's had in since the beginning of lockdown. Not custard cream. Not one of them looked clean either. Filthy animals. They went in the front and they went in the back, and they come out the front and they come out the back. Never seen anything like it. Sorry, I'm Judith. You've met me before. You probably know me. I'm your local usher. I work in the theatre, lockdown theatre. Well, I did anyway, until it shut. Obviously, lockdown, everywhere's shut. My theatre's shut. Her legs are not shut, though. Her legs are wide. I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. Do you know what? I'm having heart palpitations thinking about it. I'm going through menopause here. And I have to deal with footsteps up the back passage, footsteps up my front passage. I'll have to have this. Hang on. I gave up, before lockdown. Oh, for God's sake. What am I supposed to do now? I'm only supposed to go to shop once a day. I'm going to have to go back out, aren't I? I'll have to just pretend to smoke it. It'll probably do my lungs better anyway, and I am on HRT, so I really shouldn't be having this, should I? But then again, she shouldn't be having men in. At least I'm only having a cig. All sorts. That's all I'm going to say. And him at the top of the street. Did I introduce myself, by the way? Sorry, I'm very rude, aren't I? Yeah, I'm Judith. You might have met me. I'm the usher at Lockdown Theatre. You've probably seen me a few times. I'm very helpful. They love me there. But we're shut, of course. I'm sitting here and the ice cream's probably defrosting as we speak, because Cheryl left the freezer open when we left on the last day. It's sad, really. But I haven't had any men in. I'm not jealous. No, I'm not jealous. And, when I hear the sounds coming through the walls, she's 84. I don't know how she does it. She must be using something to... That's all I'm going to say. She must be on more HRT than me. I've not seen any action since about 1978. And I've been married since then. Oh, I don't know. So she's had them in, she's had them out. I'm trying not to gossip, I'm trying not to judge, and I'm trying not to be jealous. But you won't get me having anybody in my house. Well, apart from my hairdresser. Yeah, listen, she is on her way. But it doesn't count, because she's not going to come in here and try and put a bodily item inside my body, is she, like the pervert next door? She's just going to come, stand at a safe 2 metre distance, get her clippers out, get her dye out, and sort me out. So you really can't call me a lockdown hypocrite. You really can't call me... What's the other one they say? What's the hashtag they do? Somebody told me about it, my other neighbour on the other side, Paul next door. Yeah, what did he tell me it was? COVIDiots, that's the one. I'm not a COVIdiot. Anyway, they've lifted some of it now. I'm going on a protest tonight. I'm going to put my mask on. I can't remember what the protest was, to be fair. Him across there, he just told me I should go if I want to support things. And I always like to support things. Is it Men's Health? Well, if it is Men's Health, she should be going next door. She's wearing half the men in the country out. She's had half of East Yorkshire. I shouldn't gossip. I really shouldn't. And I don't like to gossip, and I don't gossip. Is that me yet? No, she's not here yet. So, yeah, and the thing is, I am fair. My hairdresser, she comes round the back. She comes in. No one sees. And I pay her double. So even if she does get corona, she's had the money for it. She'll probably be fine. I don't think I've had it. My cough's because of these. And my hot sweat is because of my HRT. It takes them away a little bit, but it doesn't completely cancel them out. The doctor did say it would bring my sex drive back, but, I'm still waiting for that. I think she's got my sex drive next door. Do you know what? I'm going to go knock now, because I think she's nicked my sex drive, because she's got twice as much as me, the greedy bint. Right, I'll leave you to it. Cheers, everyone. I'm going to... Oh, hairdresser's here. I'm just going to go let the hairdresser in and tell her I want my bloody sex drive back. Ugh.
Day 68. I wasn't going to bother. I was going to see what happened if I didn't bother. But something wouldn't let me. I feel like I'm running on empty. Writers need stimulation to be able to write. We pick things up and store them away. We bring them out later to play with on the page. When you've drained all there is inside, and there's nothing else to mine, and you can't go outside, then what's writing for? I think lockdown is getting to me. And this on a day when I had a lockdown beer with my bestie. Now, don't go getting all hurt. I can have as many besties as I like. It's not a competition. I think lockdown is getting to me. The moments of distanced interaction only serve to remind me that I'm lonely and there's no cure for this. Not the virus, but the way I feel. Each visit is contactless. Every damn interaction through a damn screen. So what does any of it mean? The momentary high of finding something to get you by, to pass the hour or the day, fades away quicker than you find it. Before long, you need another one. Another con, a make-believe that your world is deeper and more meaningful than the view from your windowsill. That you have purpose in all this. That you are somehow making a difference. Because that's why we do it. Somewhere, somehow, I have to believe what I do matters. It's not about the money now. It used to be about the money, sure. Not just chasing a coin to keep yourself afloat, but the number in the right-hand column as a sign of self-worth. And a congratulatory notice that says, yes, you are on the right track. You're only as good as your last piece, so you better have been at your best. Every time you put pen to paper, you begin at ground zero. There's no blueprint for this. It happens or it doesn't happen. They say it is like any other muscle in your body. You have to exercise it. Work hard to reap the reward. Right now, there is no reward. No reward. Right now, there is no reward. I think lockdown is getting to me. It's getting harder to put on a brave face, to keep smiling, to not feel empty. There is nothing left to say except fill in the blank space.
Must I be plagued one night more by the sounds of their ire? The mind conjures visions to accompany the row. Without the aid of sight, I see heads dashed to the floor, faces gouged by tooth and talon. Both hands meet at once before and after. My own time is overrun by them. No winged denizen to carry me to rest. While mine ears are deafened by that interminable uproar, I am prisoner to the disturbance that threatens shatter window and wall, splinter and spoil ceiling rows, casting my face in fine white snow, like an ill-timed celebration cake. Surely this torment must end. The world without slumbers, insensible to the plight within. Damnation! Will you not give me one moment to think? whence I could act upon instinct were it not for thy incessant yowl. Have mercy on your folk, give them respite. For this night, this one night, I crave sleep. Sleep and nothing more. Puncture the drums to bestow mute quietude. Sleep.
Yesterday, I walked to the edge of the weather, and I sheltered beneath a beech tree and watched, transfixed as the raven's rim crept closer, and the clouds gave way to the sky, and I left my honesty not brilliant hiding place, and stood dripping and cold in hot sunshine, and breathed in the scent of the earth drinking. And I know there's a word for the way the world smells after the rain, but right now we all have time, so if it's okay by you, I'm going to sprawl a little. And instead of that single word we both know, I'd like to tell you about how surprised I was to realise that, as well as the thirsty soil, I could also smell the water in the puddles, and the astonishing blast of pollen from the flowers in the allotments, some of which were lupins, and many of which were other flowers that were not lupins, and the damp lanolin of a recently shaved sheep looking straight at me through the fence, and the way it stood with rainwater dripping off its bottom and sunlight gleaming pinkly through its ears, and before I ruined everything by licking my lips and adding the words mint and sauce, I saw my expression on that sheep's face, and we shared a mutual moment of, I know, right? And walking back, I chased the clouds home, and I didn't win because the clouds were faster than I was, so I walked home through blue sunshine. And also, I did win because the clouds were faster than I was, and I walked home through blue sunshine. I walked home through blue sunshine. And it wasn't perfect this afternoon, because I wasn't in the place I want to be the most, and I wasn't with the people my heart longs for, but still, it felt like a gift. And sometimes that's how a gift is. Not something you'd have chosen, but you cherish it anyway, because it was given with what feels like love. And since I can't have what I really want, maybe it's time to start learning to want what I have. And I don't know, but I did really feel as if nature was giving me a present that was also a lesson. And if I'm not quite sure yet what that lesson was, maybe that's the point. And what am I going to do about all of this, I wonder? What are any of us going to do with all of this?
The bridge takes me from here to there, from near to far. An invisible string tying my children to my heart. An umbilical cord, severed but healing. The bridge takes breath, it drags it from your throat, from lung to air, from depth to despair, and releases it like Chinese lanterns carrying weighted wishes. When you fell down, 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 did you scream? I would have screamed. The bridge takes feet to a carefully chosen spot and has you fold your coat and pair your shoes and place a book on top. It takes you home. I am home. Moon, how can you move the tide but not the woman on the bridge to a safer place?
I just caught the wind stealing the seventh chime from the church clock. Then came the pull of the slowdown. I'm almost there, at my destination, my get-off station, my cue for repatriation. It's where I can shrink endless hours and fit them into my night-tight compartment. It's where my fears get lost, where my icy bits defrost, where I can drum some sense into nonsense. It's a comforting department. It broadcasts aromas of Spain, garlic and shrimp and senorita bread. It serenades a glass of red and forgets all about infodemic intrusion. Instead, it quaffs wine and anticipates Netflix's true crime. It's where I'm protected, temporarily corrected until all of this madness is over. So carry on. Plunder from my days. I have salvaged the night to which you have no right. All I have to do is listen for 7 chimes from the church clock. Then feel the pull of the slowdown. It means I'm approaching my get-off station. Nearly home. Home. My everyday lockdown destination.
Lockdown in my hometown. Can't even have my hose round. Deep shit going underground. Isolate like a dog pound. Shit got real in my hometown. This whole city on lockdown. Don't ever get near a big crowd. Bitches separate when you go out. Keep it real now, 'cause you know how. Meltdown in my hometown. You gotta isolate, but don't spread no hate. You must protect the weak, of course, when they can't speak. The door is closed. The choices are given. Husband's breath through the wall. Is stabbing forgiven? A hardcore situation, so my own PlayStation, pay my bitches medication, toilet rolls in my back room, sanitizer running out, and Corona sheer real to motherfuckers in my guest room. I made meals for the whole next door. I ain't never gonna make her no more. Boris on my screen like a bro now. Hair like a hedge on the blow now. Shit got real, it's going down. When my sanity got lost and found. Neighbors ain't got no time for this sound. Wish my dad was still around. Lockdown in my hometown. Isolation ain't no playground.